Hello and welcome to episode 33 of IOnTheTigers, a podcast all about the National Ice Hockey League, but one that always has an eye on the Telford Tigers. A couple of announcements this week from across the league, so we'll kick off with those. First is a new signing for the Raiders. It brings their non-British trained player complement up to 3. It was the announcement of Jesper Eriksson joining them. So he's had some reasonable stats. Take a look through on Elite Prospects from what I could see. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of numbers he puts up for the Raiders and whether he can help them in their push for the playoffs. Going the other way, though, Josh Hodgkinson has announced that he'll be leaving the Seahawks. That will be after the Seahawks have played their Cup semi-final against Leeds Knights, more of which in just a moment or two. Whilst we're speaking about Cup semi-finals, we might as well take a look for the Tigers 2, who were in Cup semi-final action past weekend against the Sheffield Titans. The first leg was up at Sheffield, and that finished with a 9-1 victory for Tigers 2. And the following day, the Sunday, it was back at Telford. Tigers 2 were the hosts at this time, and they won that 10-5 against Sheffield Titans. So that gave them, if I can count, an aggregate victory of 19-6 over the 2 legs of the semi-final. They now have the Sting ENL to play in the final, with dates to be announced. In terms of the National League, the action started Friday night with a top-of-the-table clash as the Knights hosted the Lightning. Close game this one, but the Knights ran out 3-2 winners. So another impressive victory there for the Knights, and I think that definitely makes them favourites for the league if they weren't already. That has just sort of definitely cemented that. It's difficult to see how they could be caught now. Saturday night, Tigers hosted the Bees. Early 2-0 lead for the Tigers. Bees pegged them back. Tigers took the lead. Bees pegged them back. Tigers took the lead. Bees pegged them back. Tigers took the lead. Bees pegged them back. Tigers took the lead and held on to it. Phew! Got there in the end. Ran out 8-5 winners in the end. 5-all going into the third period, but 3 unanswered goals in the third period. It's enough for the Tigers to pick up the 2 points on home ice. Another team to score 8 on Saturday night at home was the Milton Keynes Lightning, although perhaps an easier scoreline to look at, if not necessarily an easier game, as they beat the Phantoms 8-3. Steel Dogs were at home to the Seahawks, and it was an away win as the Seahawks won 4-1. And third team, so might as well top and tail this, to score 8 at home were the Wildcats, and very much an easier scoreline for them as they ran out 8-1 winners against the Sharks. So a comprehensive win there, and they completely blew out the water my prediction of the Sharks pulling off a shock result there. Raiders were scheduled to play the Pitbulls, but the Zamboni was broken, so that game was postponed. The Raiders were also scheduled to be at home on Sunday night against the Knights, and that game was also postponed for the same reason. However, in terms of games on Sunday night, let's kick off with the Bees Tigers Part 2. 5-3 lead, I think it was, for the Bees going into the third. Tigers ran out 6-5 winners. Luca scoring a late goal with a couple of minutes left on the clock to secure the points. Absolutely massive weekend for the Tigers. Previous weekend it had been Leeds and Swindon twice, lost all 3. Needed to get 4 points on the board, cement that 6th place spot, which I think is realistically where the Tigers should be looking to finish this season. Top 5. I can't see us beating Leeds, Milton Keynes or Swindon. Peterborough perhaps unlikely, and Hull, yeah, we have picked up results, but I still think overall they will finish higher in the league. And in terms of the teams underneath, I feel that we should be winning the majority of those matches. So yeah, I feel 6th is realistic, both for where we should finish in the league and sort of where we are at the moment. Other action on Sunday night. Pitbulls hosted the Sharks in a game perhaps towards the bottom of the league, although to be fair, the Sharks have been picking up and are very much in that playoff contention. Currently up in 7th, if I remember correctly. And it was the visiting Sharks who won that game. 5-3 win for the Sharks. Wildcats travelled up to the Seahawks, and the winning run for the Wildcats ended. 6-2 win for the Seahawks there on home ice. A big win for them, and I'm going to say a bit of a shock result. I mean, the Wildcats have won 7 straight. Seahawks perhaps hasn't been going quite all their way recently, so a really big win for them. But in terms of big win, certainly in terms of score lines, Phantoms hosted the Steel Dogs, and the Phantoms ran out winners 11-2. So a really comprehensive win there. The upcoming week, well, action starts on Wednesday night, tomorrow night, with Cup action. It's the Cup semi-final, the first leg, as the Seahawks host the Knights, and 2 days later they do it all over again as the Knights host the Seahawks. I'm going to go for the Knights to win both games and be the first team to secure their place in the Cup final. Saturday, Pitbulls host the Tigers. Tigers are going to win that one. So 2 more points coming Tigers' way. Wildcats host the Phantoms. This one looks really interesting. Which way is it going to go? I'm going to go for the Wildcats to win that one. Yeah. Anything, if last time there's anything to go by, there'll be goals galore. But yeah, Wildcats to run out the winners there. Bees host the Steel Dogs. Bees to win that one. Lightning host the Sharks. Lightning to win that one. And Knights to host the Raiders. Knights to win that one. Sunday night, Tigers host the Sharks. It's going to be tight. It's going to be close. It's going to be nail-biting. But Tigers to win. Tigers to get their second 4-point weekend in a row. If they do, yes, I know mathematically things still, are possible, not possible. But if they get another 4-point weekend, that's playoff secured. It's just where they're going to finish. I know mathematically it's not, but that's playoff secured. It's just where they're going to finish. And as I say, in my view, 6th is very much realistic. I'd be surprised if we finished any higher, and probably a bit disappointed if we finished in 7th or 8th. But yeah, Tigers to beat the Sharks. Phantoms to host the Lightning. Lightning do struggle on the road. Phantoms win. Maybe overtime to separate them, but yeah, Phantoms to win that one. Wildcats host the Raiders. I mean, I could see the Raiders pulling off an upset win, but realistically, I'm going to go with the Wildcats to win that one. I'm not going to be completely surprised if Raiders do win it, but yeah, Wildcats to win that one. Steel Dogs host the Bees. Going to be tighter than the previous night, but I fancy the Bees to get a 4-point weekend there. And last but certainly not least, Seahawks host the Pitbulls. Seahawks to win there. So that's my roundup, review of results and predictions for the upcoming week. And as always, get in contact, leave me a comment, let me know what you think of my predictions. I'll be back next week. Bye for now.